Chapter 16. If Alice had found the information as revealed by Jean Noel on the morning after his return to Big Sur to be deeply disturbing, it had dealt nothing short of a death blow to the three cats, who could not help overhearing it, as they had all been eavesdropping nonchalantly nearby. During Jean Noel's telling, his two tabby cats, Laertes and Ophelia, being close-knit siblings, were hiding together behind a floor-length tapestry that hung on the wall across from the sofa when the news reached their ears. Their mother, Alice's own tortoiseshell cat, Dulcinea, while pretending to be asleep, was lying on Alice's lap in the easy chair beside the sofa bed, where Jean Noel still recuperated within its clean white sheets. Jean Noel was regaling them with all the swashbuckling tales, embellished especially for their benefit, of his recent odyssey into the hinterlands of Big Sur. Needless to say, his newfound conviction of his father had been somewhat larger-than-life figure named Byron, an honorable protagonist whose only flaw was evidently a hereditary propensity to salivate excessively, rang hollow with Alice as the image of the noble black dog in the photograph, who lay in magnificent repose at Zuzu's and Natalie's feet, flashed across her mind. That part of the story, in lieu of the photograph, was for Alice a pitiful anticlimax to Jean Noel's otherwise entertaining tale of adventure, and one to which she, in good conscience, could not as yet make comment. It was the subsequent part of the story, however, about a weird occurrence that had taken place just prior to Jean Noel's luncheon engagement with Elspeth at Fandango, that not only gave Alice cause for grave concern, but also sent shockwaves of despair through the very fibre, it seemed, of three cats who were so obviously caught off guard by it. I know Elspeth must have thought I was unconscionably rude the way I just ate and ran that day, but I was terribly preoccupied with getting back home to you, Alice. In fact, I was under orders to do so. Under orders? Alice asked uneasily. How so? I know this is going to sound far-fetched, Jean Noel began in earnest. However, after sensing her unease, he stopped short to take a deep breath and stare beseechingly at the ceiling, as if the appropriate words with which to go on might possibly be found lurking up there. Having no such luck, he nevertheless boldly continued on, but prefaced his words by saying, "Just bear with me, please, because everything I'm about to say is true. I decided to leave Big Sur early that morning and go kayaking at Lover's Point in Pacific Grove, before having lunch with Elspeth. I thought it might clear my head after being holed up in that cabin for 2 days alone with my worst fears. I was out in the bay with no one else around except the seagulls overhead, and cormorants just skimming the surface of the water, the occasional grebe popping up only to dive back under again, when from out of nowhere I heard a voice. I'm not kidding. I heard a voice so loud and so clear that it scared the bejesus out of me, and it told me, no, actually it ordered me, to go home as soon as possible and tell you something." "Tell me something?" Alice asked, with growing concern. "Yes, you, specifically, Alice. I was told to tell you that." And here his voice dropped to a hushed whisper that was nevertheless clearly audible to the acutely sensitive ears of all the felines present. No sooner had the words left Jean Noel's mouth than the cats struck up a deep and heart-wrenching chorus of yowls. From behind the tapestry came deafening cries, full-blown with despair, from Ophelia and Laertes. So startled by the news was Dulcinea that she leapt from Alice's lap onto the coffee table without her usual grace and precision. In doing so, she upset the half-drunk glass of Hawaiian punch from the night before and sent the bright pink liquid splashing all over the erstwhile clean white sheets of the sofa bed. Her abject grief thus commingled with mortification. She retreated in both sadness and shame to hide under the sofa bed, and there added her formidable voice to the ongoing, eerie refrain of her offspring. It would seem at that point the voice had spoken so commandingly at sea that Jean Noel had never intended its words for Alice's ears at all. Alice was merely a convenient intermediary for the intended recipients, who in this case, evidently, were the cats. For to Alice, the content was confusing and made no sense at all, while to Dulcinea, Ophelia, and Laertes, the importance of the message was abundantly clear. There was no doubt as to its meaning whatsoever, for it stated in certain terms, "The king of cats is dead."